Most companies have their database update every 4 weeks. You would get the most individual weeks and quad weeks available, and lose the oldest individuals weeks and the oldest quad weeks. Expect to get the new data about 2 to 3 weeks after the end of each quad weeks, when given with the standard option. Deluxe option. Once you have weeks and quad weeks, all other time periods can be created. So the deluxe options here is spending more money to have IRI. And Nelson's create custom months that align with your accounting calendar. This can be purchased along with or instead of quad weeks. This is something to consider, especially you will be using IRI and Nelson's data with better forecast shipments. Look for a future post on comment, period, aggregate, and which ones to use when. You may want to upgrade and have additional year of history on your database. Fortunately, the cost is not linear, so getting 3 years of data is not 15% more expensive than getting 2 years of data. It is less than that. It is usually a good investment to go for 3 years of data, as it gives you a bit longer perspective on things. You can also choose to spend extra money to get weekly updates instead of 4 weeks. This is only worth while though if your products are seasonal, like looking at weekly data for beer or hot dogs from May on Memorial Day through September's Labor Day. Or B, you can add on information and influence sales that quickly. If neither of these are true, then monthly updates are usually sufficient. Another update is to have data delivered faster, as fast as 8 to 10 days after a period ends. Only do this if your company can actually react to having data sooner. Money saving tips. One way to save more money on your database is to only have quad weeks and forgo the individual weeks. If your company does little to low trade promotion, this is something to consider. The downside is not being able to create many of the other period aggregates that are very useful. In theory, you could choose to have only 1 year of history, but we have never seen this happen in real life. Most analysts are all about comparisons over time versus a year ago, so 1 year is not that useful. Some companies with limited budget choose quarterly updates, which includes quad weeks and weeks instead of monthly updates. This can save lots of money, should be considered, and when there are limited resources to analyze the data on a monthly basis. Eight questions to consider before you buy Nelson's or IRI data. Are you thinking about buying scanner data from IRI or Nelson's? Want to make sure you get a good return on your investment? Answer each of these questions below. You will be on your way to smart purchase. If you skim on this purchase analysis,
Skim.
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 Skim on. To skim on something means to provide less time, money, effort, and material that is truly needed or appropriate, often resulting in a job or activity being done poorly or being of low quality. If you skim on this pre-purchase analysis, you may find you bought the wrong data, didn't buy enough data, or way more data than you can handle. To coach you through this process, we will be adding future posts that address many of these questions in more detail. Some of these have already been published and are linked below. Number 1. What business questions do I expect this data to answer? It seems kind of obvious, but it's surprisingly easy to skip this step. It is surprisingly easy to skip this step. Make it explicit. Write down what you are expecting this data to do for you, and review the list with your Nelson's and IRI salesperson before you sign up. Complete this step first, because it will form the base for answering all the questions below. Here are posts we have written about answering the business questions. Number 2, which of my brands do I need to track? How should I define my product category? Which markets and geographies should I get? What time period do I require, and how much history do I need? How often do I need the data deleted? Which facts should I purchase? Do I need a syndicated data or custom database? How am I going to analyze and distribute this data? Do I have the internal resources to get full value from this data? If you don't have the expert on staff, we can help. Contact us to learn more about our consulting service. We can improve your data ROI at any stage in the process, including coaching you through these questions. Want to read more? In addition to link above, our article on the 4 dimensions of syndicate data will have answers 2 to 5. Measure for measure. Which fact should you Warben Simon say? Contact Warben here to connect her on LinkedIn. Warben has 35 years business experience, primarily in the consumer product industry. Her consulting practice, Simon's Consulting Corp, combine her top-notch analytic
Top notch, top notch,
top notch, notch, an indentation or incision on edge of a deep narrow pass. There was a notch at the end of the narrow. Notch, a hollow cut in anything. Notch.
Notch.
Notch. A V-shaped cut in a hard surface. This stick has two notch, one at each end. One at each end. Top notch, top notch. Top notch, analytic capability with excellent communication skills to help organization make better decisions through the use of information. Top notch.
Tenure.
During her 12-year tenure at Kraft Foods in both US and Canada, Warburg managed the forecasting process of several categories, from building regression-based models to conduct cross-functional census meeting. She has extensive experience providing analysis and recommendation across a variety of business issues, including pricing, trade promotion management, and consumer package, and consumer promotion, advertising effectiveness, and product portfolio management. In addition, she was responsible for training several hundred salespeople in the category management and the use of data as a fact-based selling tool with their retail customers. From 2023 to 2003 until 2018, Warburg worked with the Institute of Business Forecasting and Planning, developing and conducting training sessions on the statistical as well as the people and process elements for forecasting. She worked with clients for IBF, including Nike, The Gap, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, Genentech, GlaxoSmithKline, Molson, Mars, Hilscher-Brandt, Senegal Pure Food, U.S. Social Security Administration has presented to the U.S., Canada, Mexico, France, Israel, and the Philippines and Switzerland. Clients of Simon Says include Measure for measure, which facts should you get? One of the 4 dimensions on every database is measures of fact. This post is your one-stop shop. This post is your one-stop shop for measures in CPG data tip sheet. CPG data tip sheet. CPG data tip sheet. Data tip sheet for measures in CPG data tip sheet. Measures fall into a few key groups, and they often appear that way on your database to make them easier to find. Measures fall into a few key groups, and they often appear that way on your database to make them easier to find. Keep in mind that these groups, names and measure names may be slightly different at your company. If you already have a database, check with your IRI Nelson's Client Service team for specific on your database and ask them for measure guide, which contains more detailed definitions. Sales, distribution, promotion, merchandising, and velocity. These are 5, right? There are 3 ways to measure sales of your product: dollar, unit, equivalence, equivalized unit. Equivalized unit, sometimes called EQ. Unit sales are the number of packages, box, cans, bottles, punch. A bag or a soft container for a small object or a small amount of something. Pouch bag. Baby food pouch. There's a pouch. This is also a pouch. Bought by consumers, and dollar sales are units times the price paid per unit. Equivalent unit are units unit sales converted to a common measure like pounds or cases. If you are looking at product level that contain things of different size, you want to use EQ as physical volume measure. Dollar and unit sales are available on all databases, while EQ is usually an upgrade. Even if EQ is available in a basic database, sometimes it just repeats the unit values, and sometimes the products are not equivalent in the same thing. Even though if EQs is available in a basic database, sometimes it just repeats the unit values, and sometimes the products are not equivalent to the same thing. Distribution. We have written a lot about distribution. People can buy a product if it is not available in store. percentage ACV is available on both syndicated and custom database and total distribution points, and average item can be created on all databases. You may need some help from your Nelson's IRI client service team for those. Also, take a look at these previous posts about this very important topic: distribution 1, distribution 2, distribution to identify distribution foils. Pricing. All pricing measures are really calculated by dividing dollar sales by physical volume. Pricing in Nelson IRI is what shoppers are paying at retail, not what retailers are paying manufacturers for the product. The most basic pricing measure is average price paid per unit. The most basic pricing measure is average price paid per unit, which is available on all databases. We will write much more about pricing and links to those posts as they are available. But for now, we will direct you to grocery entries. Grocery.
Glossary.
Grocery.
Glossary. Grocery. Grocery.
Grocery.
Grocery. Grocery. Glossary.
Upgrades available like long promotion price, base price, price by merchandising tactics, price per EQ, promotion and merchandising. Even if you have no budget for consumer marketing efforts, almost all brands have some trade promotion happening. The least expensive option for merchandising measures is get no information on this. The least expensive option for merchandising measure is to get no information on this. Given the fact that trade is typically one of the biggest costs in brand's P&L, we recommend upgrading to at least getting the key facts for long promoted and promote conditions. The highest level of upgrade at base and incremental sales pricing to that. Look for a future post coming soon that explains this measure further. Almost all measures available for total also available by specific tactics: feature and display, TPR, sales, distribution, pricing, weeks of support, and display execution are other measures available related to promotion that can be available on a custom base. Velocity or sales rate. You can think of the measures in this group as a variation of sales, but just for distribution. These facts are typically used by retailers and therefore sales to compare brands and items to each other when determining what to carry and how much shelf space to allocate. Common velocity measures are sales per point of distribution. Common velocity measures are sales per point of distribution, sales per per point of distribution, sales per TDP, sales per million. The first two can be calculated if they are not on your database. Sales per million is upgrade. I'm just getting started with Nelson and have been tasked with assessing the performance of new items. Should I use EQ volume to compare performance across total category, subcategory, one skill? If you are looking at any aggregates that combines items of different size, definitely use EQ volume or physical volume, not unit. If you are showing this to a retailer, then you should also look at the dollar sales. Take a look at this post. It explains when to look at different metrics. The four key dimensions in every Nelson or IRI database. Does it seem nerdy to worry about data structure when your goal is basis insight? This is not a promise. Understanding the nitty gritty.
Nitty gritty.
The most important aspect of practical details of a subject or a situation. Let's go down to the nitty gritty of finding a job.
Nitty gritty. Nitty gritty. Nitty gritty.
Understand the nitty gritty of your IRI or Nelson's data will ensure you buy the right amount of information and interpret it correctly. The four dimensions are the grammar of the scanner data. The scanner data language. They impact the price you pay for the data, what you are able to do with the data, how you think about your data to pull for your analysis. Dimension 1, products, items, roll up to brands or sub-brands. Turn something flexible over and over itself to form a cylinder, tube, or ball. In other words, roll up to brands or sub-brands, roll up to segments, roll up to categories. In other words, the things the consumer chooses from the shelf and buy at the register. Nelson's IRI also have available a wealth of product information called attributes or characteristics. For each UPC, they capture all kinds of information about prototypes, ingredients, claims, weight, and much more. Get as much as this information as you can. To read more about products, click here and here. Dimension 2, market. Many markets are available, but fundamentally separates themselves into two groups: retail accounts or physical geography. Physical geography.
Kroger. Kroger.
Kroger. Kroger. Kroger. Kroger company is an American leader. Operate supermarket, multi-department stores throughout the United States. Kroger. Kroger. Kroger.
Kroger.
Kroger. Kroger. Kroger, the American supermarket chain, does not operate in Canada. However, they have a page on their website that discusses how Canadians can save money on grocery by shopping at their store in US, by using their loyalty program and by leveraging their digital coupons, weekly ads, and other saving programs. Stop and stop and shop chain with house branded groceries and organics, including deli and bakery counters. Principle: the Stop and Shop supermarket company, known as Stop and Shop, is an American regional chain of supermarkets located in the northeastern United States. From its beginning in 1892 as a small grocery store, it's grown into 365 store chain. And physical geography, total U.S. or New England Census region, or San Francisco metropolitan area. This poses a large market on the market dimension. Many Twinkle for Mom. Twinkle for Find this. Partly have American author. Northwest California, Texas market. I have this weather also give store-wide sales. Retail accounts. And physical geography. Periods, dimension 3, periods. Standard option. and feature and display and velocity rate. These are many permutations of these basic fact types. We have lots of codes on each type of measure and it grossly define all the most important ones to know. But before you buy, ask yourself, what do I need from each dimension to understand my business question? Period. Market and fact. Product. Okay. Product attributes. The key to okay. Product attribute, the key to meaningful analysis. Modern things. Product attributes are what makes it distinct from other product attributes. Include things like size, color, flavor, package type, and other features that are relevant to that category from a consumer perspective. These attributes are what determine the consideration set and influence the ultimate purchase decision. From a retail perspective, product attributes help define how aisles departments, and shelf sets are organized. Manufacturers use attributes to help define their product's competitive set. Attributes are also known as characteristics, depending on your data set or supplier, or your data supplier. When thinking about products, the largest thing is usually a category, while the smallest is an individual item. When thinking about products, the largest thing is usually a category, while the smallest is an individual item. There are times when you need to look at the entire category to see if it is just your brand that is declining. For example, or the whole category. And the other times when you need to look at items to show retailers where your items rank within the category. When selling in new items or when recommending changes to item assortment to show retailers where your item rank within the category. Or other times when you need to look at items to show retailers where your items rank within the category. When selling in new items or recommending changes to item assortment. There are also many other levels between category and item that are important and useful to look at. Product attributes tell you something about various aspects of a product and allows you to get these other levels. Looking at product segment based on different attributes allow you to keep on top of most important trends, more easily identify growth opportunity, which is growing faster, smaller or large size, sweet or savory flavor, savory flavor, cans or pouch. Pouch, floral, herbal, fresh or unscented, low sodium or gluten-free. You get the idea. The most commonly used product attribute is probably brand. One of the many attributes available for all items in your database. Take a look at the following table to see some of the attributes associated with free beverage products. Attribute: manufacturer, brand, sub-brand, category, type, sweetener, container, multi-pack, size. These are attributes. Portland Spring water carbonated beverage, cherry Coke Zero, single bottle, can. These are the values of the attributes. These are 9 attributes listed, and each attribute can have only one value. All the items that are in your database are coded for several different attributes. All the items that are in your database are coded for several different attributes, all of which must be visible by looking at the package. Some attributes apply to all products. These include things like manufacturer, brand, category, and size. Other attributes are only relevant for certain categories. In the above example, the value of a sub-brand for this Poland Spring item says not applicable, because there is no sub-brand. Similarly, the attribute sweetener is not relevant. Food and beverages products have flavor as an attribute, but household and personal care products often have scents, fragrances instead. Due to the current interest in health and wellness amongst consumers, there are dozens of adjectives just having to do with things like organic, sodium, salt, sugar, fat, gluten, gluten-free. Gluten and other health claims. These extra attributes can be made available on your IRI Nelson's database, but for an additional charge. Spins is a company that specializes in organic space. They offer the most extensive attribute coding related to electro products and health and wellness claims. Spins. Once you are familiar with attributes available in your database, you can look at the performance based on what's important to you or your retail consumers. Some examples using Beverly. Once you are familiar with the attributes available in your database, you can look at the performance based on what's important to you and your retail customers. Some examples using Beverly. How are various manufacturers, brands doing? Compare performance of different beverage categories. Water versus carbonated versus juice. Different containers. Cans versus bottles. Diet versus regular.
Sucralose. Sucralose.
A very sweet artificial substance that is used to replace sugar, especially by people who want to lose weight and not eating
Sucralose. Aspartame.
Multi-serve, single serve. Multi-serve versus single serve package. Relative pricing between size. What else? Attributes are generally available at the item level only. Look for product totals that add together multiple items. Be careful when relying on attributes category. in your database. Even though all items are assigned to a category by your data supplier, those destinations are somewhat arbitrary and may not be how your company likes to look at the category. Not all categories, and sometimes even items within a category use the same unit measure for size attribute. Some items may be in points and others may be in milliliters. The unit of measure is usually indicated in value, but check with your ILI Nelson's client service team if it isn't. Many attributes have detailed value than you typically want to see. You probably don't want to look at 25 plus specific flavors when assessing general trends. Remember, the value for an attribute like flavor is taken right from the package. So apple, cinnamon apple, gingerbread apple, cinnamon, etc. All sold up as separate favorite values. A future post will explain to you how you can create your own groups of items based on attributes in your database. Okay, that's it. See you next time.